Welcome to video 9.2. Today we're going to be talking more about the skills that we need for factoring. In this unit we will be given the final answer or the area that we were just talking about in the previous unit in standard form, and we will need to work backwards to find the multiple parts. And we talked about this in class yesterday. So we're going to look and we're going to find the missing dimensions of the boxes below by working backwards. And then we'll be able to express our answer as a product of the two factors. So when you think about as a review like we did yesterday when we were given, say, a binomial times a binomial, we multiplied them by filling in an area model, and then we were able to combine them. We're going to use that skill in the reverse way. So this time we know what's in here. We need to work backwards to figure out what goes as the other factor. So here one of the factors, one dimension of the box, if you think of it that way, is the 2x. Now in order for this to give the product here of 6x squared, we need to think to ourselves, well, what would need to go above that so that the product here will give us the 6x squared? So if we think 2x times what is 6x squared, so that will give us a 3x. And then we keep looking over here. This is the 14x. Well, I have a 2x here, so what would need to go here in order to then have this product of the 14x? So that would be a 7. And now we need to write it as the two factors. So what are the factors that are being multiplied to give us that product of 6x squared and the 14x? And that's the 2x is one factor, and then the 3x plus 7 is the other. So I'll put parentheses around them. So one way of writing that is the 2x and then the 3x plus 7. You can also, since this is a monomial and a binomial, you can just put the 2x out front there, and that'll give you the same answer. Okay, let's look at another one here. We have this 4a squared b, and we want to do the same thing. What would need to go here in order to make this a 16a to the 5th b? So I'm going to start with a number. 4 times what is 16? That's 4. And then I already have a squared, so times what will give me a to the 5th? That's a to the 3rd. And then I already have the b, so there's no other b's here since it's just b. Now we'll look at the other one. To get the negative 4, what would we multiply 4 by? Well, that's a negative 1. And then if I see, I already have the a squared and the b that matches here, so negative 1 is all I needed there. So now I have my two factors, 4a squared b, and then the 4a to the 3rd and minus 1. And that's our answer. And again, you can write it either way. You can use the parentheses to separate the two factors out, or you can just write it without the parentheses as your answer there. Okay, now let's look at one of the binomial ones here. So now I know that this one is x. So what would go here to make it x squared? Another x. And then I'm going to keep going over here. I see that to fill this in, I need a 5. So I'm going to put a plus 5 there. And then when I look over here, this negative 4x, I need to put a negative 4 here. And then the last thing you want to make sure is to check to make sure that you do get this answer here. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. So now I'm confident in my answer that my two factors are the x plus 5 and the x minus 4. Now in this case, I do need parentheses to show that it's a binomial times a binomial. And that's it for that one. We'll do one more together. So over here I have an x again here. So start with the one spot. It doesn't really matter where you go from there, which spot you look at, but I always just go here. So what times x gives me x squared, and then that's an x. And then if I look next door, what times the x will give me the 2x, that's positive 2. And then over here we've got the 3x. So if we multiply by 3 here, that'll give us 3 times x to give us 3x. And then again, always check that last one. 3 times 2 is 6, so I'm confident in my answer. And again, just express it as a binomial times a binomial using parentheses. And that's our answer. And we're just going to keep doing that, the same idea of just working backwards once we know one of the factors. And we'll go over this more tomorrow. Have a good night.